This was inspired by Phil Agnew on the Nudge podcast, and as a result of that, every morning I sit down to make a cup of tea in the office and I do this. So if you're anything like me and you're running a business, you're going to be really busy. You'll be spinning lots of plates, juggling lots of balls and fighting loads of fires. And you'll be frustrated you won't get to the bottom of your to-do list. But don't lose hope, because the team behind the Clever Content channel are going to give you some advice to help you achieve these habits. So I'd hazard a guess that your to-do list has loads of things on it. Some of those things you know you have to do every month, every week, or even every day. And I would hazard a guess that you struggle to get those things done when you need to. So the reason you haven't got these things on your list ticked off on a regular basis or when they need to be done is because they're not habits. Or because you don't enjoy doing them, or they're too big a chore to achieve. What you need to do with a habit is you need to stack it on top of another habit. Now, if you don't know what habit stacking is, it's joining two habits together. It's more likely that you will achieve the second habit by associating it with the first habit. Now, in a moment, I'm going to give you a perfect example of how I use this with my own day-to-day business. Now, we all fail to achieve habits because they're either too ambitious, or they're too difficult, or we just procrastinate about them and we'll think we're going to do them later and never get around to the list. Now, I mentioned Phil Agnew in the Nudge podcast. Now, he gave a perfect example of a wonderful habit that was formed. Now, we all have, no doubt nowadays, smoke alarms in our house, but how often do we check the batteries on those smoke alarms? To do this, the case study includes try to link two habits together. The new habit, which was checking the smoke alarm, and the old habit, which was updating the clock when the clocks go back or forward. So the trigger should be that at the time that you change the clock, excuse the pun, whilst you're on the ladder, you check the smoke alarm. So two habits formed to make a new habit stack. And I bet you, when you come to put the clocks back this year, twice, you will probably think about checking your smoke alarm. So how do you create a habit stack? Well, the way I work on this is I create a list of things that I do regularly, the habits that I already have. Then I create a second list of things that I want to achieve, the things that I can't do, that should be a habit. Then I join those two habits together. Well, I know that every day it's good practice for me to check the bank account. But I was really bad at doing this. So I joined two habits together. I know that every morning the first thing I do when I get to the office is make myself a cup of tea. So I join that habit with the habit of checking the bank account. So when I turn the kettle on and I'm waiting for that water to boil, I go sit down at the computer and I check the bank account. So a new habit was formed as a result of connecting two habits together. I now can't walk into the office in the morning without checking the bank account because I can't start off the day without a cup of tea. I wanted to get in the habit of every morning checking the progress of certain projects using our management tool, Monday.com. So we'll come back to Monday at a future date and give you a whole wide range of information about why it's a wonderful piece of software for managing all sorts of things within your business. So Monday aside, adding extra levels to your habit stacking is a wonderful way of making sure you can get extra stuff done. Now I check Monday all day and every day, but I wanted to start off the day correctly with checking those particular projects. So added a next level to my already formed habit. So I have some wonderful tips to make it easy for you to actually achieve the habit stack approach. But before I get onto that, the fresh start method. So there might be logical reasons to start a new habit, but the human brain puts more emphasis on things that are emotional. And therefore emotional triggers are the only way to make those habits stick. So an emotional trigger might be one of myriad of different things. It could be a pivotal moment in your life. So from a business point of view, it could be a trigger such as the new financial year or a new calendar month. So it could also be a downturn in the business, or it could be something that your competitors are doing, or a new product launch. These are all things that are emotionally charged and require a response from any business. All of those elements are triggers to help you achieve those goals. So what does this mean now, and how does this form as a new habit? Well, I could tell you to start a new habit within your business, but the likelihood of you actually doing it is probably quite slim. So I would like you to take the first habit that you want to achieve, work out how you're going to stack that with an existing habit, And then I want you to plan to action that on the first day of the next month. So that will be a trigger to make that habit stick. Hopefully you're going to take these two hacks, these habits stacking and the fresh start on board. It would be lovely if you could put in the comments below any of those habits that you formed as a result of these two hacks. And it would also be really interesting to see any of those habits that you would like to achieve as well, because we might be able to help you join those two habits together and form a habit stack. So these are the extra tips that might make you more likely to make these habits stick. Number one, start small. Aim for a more consistent approach and then build on the habit stacks. So number two, make it easy. If it's overly complicated and there's too many layers to your habit stack, then it's unlikely you'll be able to make it stick. And number three, make sure you reward yourself. Make sure you pat yourself on the back for achieving a habit stack, because you've taken something off your tick list and you've got it into a regular occurrence in your mind. So if you really enjoyed what you've watched today and you'd like to know more about marketing and more hints and tips and hacks, then please do subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps us know that you're getting value from what we put out there. I have another question. What do you think of this background and this set? Do you prefer this to the other sets? Please leave your comments below. So if you really want to get really meta on this, you should start a new habit of checking where you are in your perception gap. We've got a video about this here.